Alright, we're gonna start over this time because it was a little bit fucked last time. I need to just remember not to press the shortcut for stopping recording. But good evening, everyone, or good morning. It's 1 a.m. here, which is still just before bedtime for me. Once again, we get to hear the very loud intro. And I would like to repeat again that there's basically no settings in this game, so there's not really anything I can change about it. Some of that I can forgive because it's old. Other parts of it I can't because I used to give a lot of games that excuse, and then I played System Shock 1, which has all the settings I could ever want, and it's way older than anything else I've ever played. Ready? Come on. Grab some. Oh boy.
And that's why I say you're a blockhead, Lowry. How could you let such a thing happen? The man was innocent. What do you think the press are going to say about all this? Now get out of here! Get the hell out of my sight! And if I have any more trouble with you, you'll be dishing out parking tickets before long. That's a promise, Lowry! Oh, and here's my good friend Halligan. Another one of the invaluable detectives of our glorious murder squad. Don't just stand there gaping. Come in. I'm glad you could make it. After all, you're a busy man, aren't you? Now look here, Detective Halligan. I've got used to being surrounded by a bunch of incompetent, half-baked blockheads. But your smart, well-dressed colleague Lowry has just earned himself the golden badge of stupidity. Halligan, we've got a bit of a problem. We've had an innocent man locked up in jail. Regrettably, he was killed in prison before we could correct our mistake. Unfortunate affair. And now we've got this lunatic killer running around all over London. We have to make sure that at least this oversight is put right. Your clear-up rate so far ought to be sufficient evidence that there's no point in asking you to clear up anything more than a common bicycle theft. But this does happen to be the murder squad. I am the chief of this department. All I have for choice is that blockhead Lowry and you.
Okay, Chief. What do you want me to do?
Sorry about that. I had to feed Epsilon. He was meowing. Alright, as I said before, to anyone who actually managed to catch the last one, these sorts of games are completely out of my field. I think I played one point-and-click adventure when I was a child, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. And if you include the point-and-click I Spy games for the personal computer, I also played several of those. That's the closest I've gotten.
Where did Lowry go wrong?
Your dear colleague Lowry dealt with the skeleton murders last year. You should know that, Halligan. Lowry worked on the case for several months and finally managed to pull a culprit out of the hat. A butcher from South London. A married man with kids. They gave him a life sentence. He was in jail till 3 weeks ago.
Pulled out of the hat, you say? So the butcher didn't do it after all?
Oh, you're a genius, Halligan. He didn't do it. We found that out today.
He didn't do it? How could he be convicted then?
Detective Lowry imaginatively constructed an impressive chain of evidence, and the court followed his arguments in detail. The public wanted somebody to blame, and they found somebody. That's life.
Well, all right, these things happen. But how do you know that the man Lowry arrested didn't commit the murders?
Very simple. Dead people don't go around committing more murders.
There's been another murder.
Exactly, Halligan. A pile of bones has been found in Epping Forest. Supposedly a male corpse. We don't know any more than that. I presume we both agree that it can't have been Lowry's man, eh?
Oh, of course.
You see, I've just managed to get that into Lowry's head as well. You heard it? Lowry's off the case. Halligan, you drive out to Epping Forest and take a look at the evidence.
Of course, sir.
And Halligan, no sloppiness now. I want results. Sensible results. The press has already been terrorizing me this morning. The killer must be found. Do I make myself clear?
Of course, Chief.
Good. This is the file with all the necessary information, and now you'd better get going quickly.
What mad assassin are you referring to?
Halligan, it's well known that you'd rather read those crazy books of yours during office hours than taking any real interest in the affairs of this department. But it would now appear that you've even stopped reading the newspapers as well. For months now, a killer's been running around in London, taking victims apart and leaving nothing but bones for us to find. You can read about it in any newspaper.
Don't pay too much attention to what the papers have to say.
I don't pay too much attention to what the papers say.
You aren't? You should be, Halligan. Really, you should. Then you'd know
I'm a
that your
detective.
colleague, Lowry, arrested a
I
butcher
really
for the
should.
killings. He was murdered in prison 3 weeks ago.
The amount of cases that Colombo solved with the help of a newspaper are uncountable. Innumerable.
Yes, Lowry told me about it. He thinks he's due for a promotion for his achievements.
Lowry should be grateful he hasn't been demoted to a traffic warden. I've taken him off the case. You can take the file with you, then you'll see what brilliant results he obtained with Stryker's help. Those two have made our entire department an ideal target for those muckrakers from the Sun. I can already see the headlines in front of me. Skeleton murderer strikes again. Jailed butcher, innocent. Scotland Yard groping in the dark.
I love that there's so much dialogue in this game that pressing different options actually gets you different responses. It actually makes me want to go back and play the game twice.
There's been another murder.
Because there's some
Exactly.
quite good voice acting in
A
this
pile of
game.
bones has been found in Epping
Truly good
Forest.
voice acting can save so much about a game for me.
I presume we both agree.
Oh,
You see, you heard Halligan,
of course.
and Halligan. I want the press. Do I?
Of course.
Alright. Since I played through a little bit of this game now, I can kind of speedrun the beginning here. Just have to remember which room is which. I had not realized at first that each door can be opened individually.
Is there anything worse than thirst? I'll take it with me.
That's some apple juice. Useful for later. I've seen Mandalore Gaming's video on this game, so I know quite a bit ahead of time, but I don't know the specifics of everything.
I'll take it with me. Maybe I'll give it back to Miss Browning today.
Yes, for some reason he has the one woman in the office's scarf. Not really anything good to be drawn from that.
Leave them. I don't need those anymore. Nope, no darts now. Maybe I'll play later. Against my favorite opponent, Inspector Miller. I've already taken one this morning.
I can't tell what that is. I mean, it's pills, but I don't know what kinds of pills they are.
Good to know that there are intelligent life forms out there. In here, I only meet weirdos like Detective Lowry.
And quite a thick volume on stopping smoking, so, you know, at least he's dedicated in that regard. Ah, hidden treasure. Tried to go back. Oh, it makes you turn around. Cool.
It's a little bit too bulky to walk around with.
I mean, you're wearing a trench coat, so it's actually smaller than this.
Unfortunately, there's no pizza in there anymore. I won't find anything I could make use of now in there. I won't find anything I could make use of now. The cleaner will empty the ashtray.
Alright, now we're good to head to Epping Forest. Actually, let me check this, make sure I can't open this cabinet. Or this one. No, it does not appear I can. Cool. Yeah, the detection can be a bit odd.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, Detective. I hope you've had a good breakfast. The sight over there is not very appetizing.
When were the bones
well,
discovered?
You know, I've got used to it. When were the bones discovered?
At 5:30 a.m. by a jogger. He phoned us.
5:30 a.m. He was out and about quite early this morning.
Indeed, sir. And half an hour later, the press arrived.
How did the press find out about this so early, officer? Did you call them by any chance?
No idea, sir. These vultures seem to have a sixth sense for crime. It's either that or somebody from your police station tipped them off.
Were there any onlookers?
Yes, a couple, but I sent them away. The real run will start after people finish work, when they've got the time. We've seen it before.
Well, hold the fort, officer.
Yes, sir. I'll have to do that.
Very good.
Okay, officer, that was it. Thank you.
Anytime, sir.
Oops.
I should take the bone with
I
me.
forgot how to open my item menu. Let's try tab. Nope. Escape. No. Alright. I is no longer a permitted button. In fact, I'm going to change that right now. Where is it? Settings, hotkeys. Give me hotkeys. Stop streaming. Just take that away. No stop streaming button. Okay. Unless I made something really obscure. About F12. And hopefully that doesn't have any other purpose. One can only try. Okay. Now, unfortunately, it's going to be two separate recordings, but not like I haven't had to do that before. Alright, back to this. Try to tab.
There's hardly any flesh on the bone.
Oh, I just have to mouse down.
That is no important evidence. That is no important evidence, I'm sure about that.
Alright, got
That
our
is no
evidence.
important evidence, I'm sure about that.
Now back to the yard. Forensics. I think this is Lowry's office. Yes, it is. And he is, as he should be, floating above his chair. As intended. For those who want a clear answer on why that is, well, you're gonna have to ask a dev. Kind of just left for the rest of us to ponder forever.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, Halligan.
I've just come back from the place where they found the bones in Epping Forest.
And? Trailblazing new findings?
I've got something here I'd like you to have a look at.
Show me.
Here you go, Chris. Have a look at this.
A bone. Very likely the right thigh bone. Why are you bringing it here? I had a look at the bones with the forensic squad this morning.
I know, but I've still got a couple of questions about them.
Well, go ahead then.
Did somebody maybe scorch the flesh off the bone?
No, definitely not. That would look different. I suspect that it was rather cut off, or maybe taken off with acid.
Wouldn't acid also leave some scorch marks on the bone?
Can you see any abnormalities?
I would have noticed them, Halligan. No fractures, no bruises. Everything quite normal.
What
sex was the victim?
Judging by the structure of the bones, I think it was male. I'll write that down in my report as well. But I'll tell you right now that you won't get it before the end of the week, Halligan.
Don't worry, I don't think I'll need it before the end of the week.
You can't tell me more than that about the bones? Chris, that doesn't help me.
There's really no more to say about the bones, Halligan. Just wait for my report. You'll have it all nicely written down then. Or, hang on a moment. If you're really interested, go and see Professor Turner. He was the supervisor of a friend's PhD thesis. That's how I met him. He works in the Anthropological Museum in Oxford. If anybody can say anything about the bones, he can.
Thank you for the advice.
Okay, thanks for the advice.
Don't mention it, Brent.
And what about this other bone? Or sorry, this other piece of evidence.
Chris, I've got something else for you. Could you have a quick look at that too?
The weed. Also from the place where the bones were found, I suppose.
Exactly.
Okay, Brent. And what do you want to know about it?
Have you seen something like this before?
You mean, have I seen grass before? Are you trying to pull my leg?
Have another look.
Have another look.
Slight burning traces. Where'd you get it from?
The bones were lying on.
Bones were lying on this grass.
Oh, maybe somebody made a fire on the grass before the bones were lying there. That's not very unusual in parks.
Alright. There was no
That
fireplace.
was no fireplace, Chris. The grass was burnt under the bones and just there.
Well then, maybe the bones got hot.
Can they get that hot?
Can bones get that hot in the sun?
Well, I don't think this is very likely in autumn. But right now, I can't say much more about that either.
Okay, Chris. See you later on.
Seems we're off to the museum. Now we're pretty much in new territory for me. Try knocking, even if it is locked.
Locked.
Hello, sir.
Hello, my friend.
Huh?
Can I help you somehow?
Can I help you somehow?
Help? Help? Nobody can help me.
Hey, don't despair. Everybody has a hard time now and then. Maybe I can do something for you.
Just leave it. I've lost everything. Everything. No money, no flat, no future. I'm finished. Simply finished.
Have you seen anybody go into the museum?
Have you seen anybody going into the museum?
Yeah. Just this morning, a woman. A young, pretty one.
A woman? You haven't seen a man?
Nah. Only a woman. She comes here every day. Now and again, she gives me a few pennies. Oh, I think she works in the museum.
Ah, a woman then.
So what? What's special about that? Ah, there are millions of women running about in this world.
That's true. I can't deny that.
Why is the museum being closed?
Well, it's been refurbished. At the moment, my business is running really badly.
How much did you, make today?
Well, just a poxy 60 pence.
You're right. You won't get far on that. Okay, I must be off now.
Well then, okay.
That was a little bit
Hello,
strange
my
with the
friend.
dialogue.
Huh?
What about those other options? What are you doing here? I think it's pretty
Doing
obvious.
Are you blind? I'm having a drink.
Do you like the taste?
Do you still like the taste?
Of course I like it. Dum-dum.
It smells
Dum
pretty
dum.
strong, if I may say so. How do you manage to drink that?
I drink everything, mate. From schnapps to aftershave. Most important thing is that it makes you happy.
You don't look
buddy.
too happy, though.
Can I have a drop?
Can I have a drop?
Get your own bottle, mate. And get me one as well. My bottle's empty.
Everybody. Isn't that enough for a bottle of gut rot?
There's money in your hat there.
That's
Isn't
a
that
fun
enough for
slang.
a bottle of gut rot?
Oh, no. Those pennies wouldn't feed a parking meter.
Alright.
Okay, I must be off now.
Well then, okay. Here, are you crazy? That's mine. Hands off, okay?
What? What you want? He's doing his jumping at the wall trick. He quite likes to do that. Alright. Well, it's closed. I know woman went in. Good job, bud. You have closed the door. Fantastic work. I was talking to the cat, not the game.
I can't hear any dialing tone. I can't hear any dialing
I wonder if you get a dialing tone in a phone booth before you put in coins. I don't know, I've never used a phone booth before. Well, I guess we'll go back to Scotland Yard and see what we can find there. Let's start by seeing Lowry, as I can say. But do you need me to open the door again because you closed it? What if I open the door slightly? Much nicer office than mine, I must say. I don't think we need to be hearing that. I keep kind of fading out of existence.
Hello, Lowry.
Oh,
It's weird the speed trouble is where he should be sitting.
You're all I need at the moment.
That's a nice suit you're wearing.
Don't humour me, Halligan. You don't know a thing about suits. A blind man would know from 100 yards away that you bought your stuff at Woolworths. What do you want?
Have you seen my
Just a
wallet?
quick question, Lowry. Have you seen my wallet?
Didn't know I'd misplaced my wallet.
You've got a nerve. I haven't really had a very pleasant day so far, as you might have noticed. Why would I worry about your bloody wallet?
Larry, could you just give me a sensible answer? I'm looking for my wallet.
So what? Do you think I've got it? Why don't you just go and clear up your oh-so-tidy office? Maybe you'll find some of those things you allegedly just wanted to borrow for a while.
Let's not argue, Lowry. I need some information from you about the last investigations.
You've got the file, Halligan. I suppose you can read. And now scram!
Lowry, I've read your file. There's just nonsense in it.
Do you know what I think, Halligan? I think I don't need to tolerate a detective in a £20 suit walking past my door criticizing the quality of my work.
Well, it's hardly my fault that the chief has taken you off the case. It's your own fault.
You can keep your analysis to yourself. Just leave me alone.
He is right, though.
You're obliged by your office to give me any information I may require.
You've got all the information. You've got the file. What more do you want?
I don't know, I guess more information.
Thanks for being so helpful, Detective.
You're welcome, Halligan. What
Let's
is
see if
it
there's anything
this
else we can
time,
figure out.
Halligan?
I know that you'll say no, but I have to ask for your help.
You do actually need help, Halligan. But not from me. Try a social worker. Well,
Could you lend me some change?
you haven't found your wallet, have you? Well, sorry, Halligan, but this is Scotland Yard, not the Bank of England.
You're a really nice person.
You're a really nice person, Lowry.
I do my best.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
What is it? This
Where can I find
Where
Detective
can I
Stryker?
find Detective Stryker?
striker? On holiday? Why?
I heard he was suspended.
I heard he was suspended.
Well, not exactly suspended. Actually, the chief did advise him to take his annual holiday.
Why?
I don't know. Ask the chief. Anyway, Striker's on holiday, and that's that.
As a reward for his outstanding achievements in the skeleton murders, I suppose.
Listen, Halligan, your jokes are starting to get on my nerves. I suggest you leave now.
Okay.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
Wonder if I can show him any of this stuff.
Not a good idea. That's the bone from Epping Forest. Wrapped up just the way it should be.
Doesn't look like it. Alright, I'll stop trying. Let's see if perhaps the doctor will have anything else to say about this situation.
Well, Halligan, how'd you get on at the museum?
Not
What did
well.
Professor Turner say? Could he help you?
It's closed.
The museum is closed. It's being refurbished.
Oh, well, that's bad luck. Why don't you phone him?
My wallet has disappeared.
My wallet has disappeared. Have you seen it?
Your wallet? No, it isn't here. Was there much money in it?
£20 note.
A £20 note and some change.
Well, it isn't here anyway.
Okay, Chris, that's it for the moment.
Okay, Halligan. See you then. Well, Halligan, how'd you get on at the museum? What did Professor Turner say? Could he help you?
I had a look round outside the building.
You only saw the museum from the outside. Man, Halligan, you're weird sometimes. Why didn't you go in?
It was closed. I told you.
I couldn't get hold of anybody.
Have you tried the phone? Maybe somebody's still there.
Could I use your phone?
Could I use your phone?
I'm not so keen on that, Halligan. I'm always in trouble with the accounts department. You know what I mean. Why don't you ask Lowry?
Lowry? You must be joking, Chris. You know how badly we get on, don't you?
Especially since this morning, right?
Exactly.
Sorry, Halligan, but I'm convinced you'll solve this problem.
You're in trouble with accounts. Why? What did you do, Doctor?
Okay, Chris. See you later on. Take it with me? Chris surely wouldn't like that. Take it with me? Chris surely wouldn't like that.
Hey,
Too
alcohol.
dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. Too dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. I don't even know what kind of stuff that is.
It's 90% ethanol. Reading is apparently not his strongest suit.
Well, Halligan, what did Professor...
I haven't seen him yet.
No? Why not?
I have some other...
Ah, I understand. And you need to do them here?
No, Chris, of course not. I don't want to disturb you, but I've got another question.
Ah, well then.
Something I wanted to ask you, Chris. What do those flasks contain?
Oh, you mean those on the shelves? They contain all sorts of different chemicals I need for my work. Indicator solutions, alcohol, things like that.
You got a great job.
You've got a great job, Chris. Masses of alcohol and everything legal.
Nonsense, Halligan. Do you think we spend all day getting drunk with medical alcohol? Why don't you just try the stuff?
What will happen to me then?
What will happen to me then?
You'll see. Well, how about it? Are you scared?
Why do you sound so sus about it? Well, neither of these are yes.
Okay, Chris. See you later on.
Well,
All
Halligan...
right, let's try saying no, and maybe he'll be like, "You are scared."
I haven't seen him.
No.
So
I have
things do.
No.
Ah.
Something I want
ask
to...
you.
They contain...
What did I say are indicator solutions?
Why do you need alcohol for your work?
Certainly not in order to drink it, Halligan. We use alcohols as solvents. Most types are poisonous anyway.
Would you bottle some of the drinkable alcohol for me?
No way, Halligan. Do you think we supply the whole department with alcohol? That'll be the day.
That will be the day.
Okay, Chris.
All right, let's try a different path.
Well, Halligan, what did...
I haven't...
No.
I have
To
to...
do.
No.
Ah.
Something I wanted
Something-
to
Oh,
ask.
they contain...
You've got a great...
Nonsense, Why don't you...
No,
It's up to you.
Okay, Chris.
So now if I interacted, can I try it? Spoiler alert, I know that's what we need to do to continue. But we might not be able to do it till later. I'm just not sure.
Too dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. I don't even know what kind of stuff that is.
Actually, we do now. Okay. Anything else we can get from Miller, I wonder? Oh boy.
Excuse me, but I didn't quite understand all the points of the briefing.
My God, Halligan, do we really have to repeat it 3 times?
I'm really sorry, Chief. I was slightly distracted this morning.
Ha! Only this morning? Well, all right then. What do you want to know?
No, that seems to be important. It's good to know I could just quit out at any time, though. Well, let's try calling with my phone. It's legally distinct Coca-Cola.
I'd better leave that here. I never use the receiver. That thing is just too heavy. Using the loudspeaker is much more comfortable.
I don't know what their phone number is, though. Alright, gonna double check the guide real quick here. Make sure I'm not missing something. Something crucial. Ah, I've missed an item. That would explain it. Ah, the game has decided to stop running, and I didn't save. That's not good. If I have to restart, then I now know I will have to save every time before I Alt-Tab. Let's see if it auto-saved. Alright, so it's continuing from my save of the previous thing, which is absolutely not up to date. So I will try to get through this as fast as I can.
There's nothing I can do with... Too dangerous to carry the bottle of...
What's got you so fascinated in that wall, bud? You're attacking it like nobody's business.
I can't do anything.
Fingerprint powder. Go back to my office, get the evidence bag and whatnot. Wait, that's Miller's office. My bad. Should be able to speed through this fairly quickly.
Is there anything worth... I'll take it with...
That's on. Pop off Tapping Forest. Straight up to Mr. Bonepile.
That is no important evidence, I'm sure about that.
Help. There we go. Got a treat for you, bud. Stop hitting the wall. Good boy. Back to forensics, which is over here. I'm probably going to keep forgetting that. Show him the bone. Haha.
Here you go, Chris.
What?
Did someone...
No,
What sec...
I'll...
You can't...
There's this way, or if you works enough, if any...
Okay.
Don't ma...
Chris, I've got some... Exact...
Okay.
Have you seen...
Are you...
Just smell it. Could the...
Don't... As if...
Can...
Well,
Alright. Now the museum's unlocked. Turns out we were supposed to grab the old man's flask. I wonder if there's a phone number I can see anywhere around here.
Closed due to renovation works. Great. And now?
I wonder if I can like interact with this nameplate over here. Doesn't look like it.
Hello, my friend.
Huh?
Can I help?
Help?
Hey, maybe...
No money.
Have you
Yeah, a woman.
a woman?
Nah, she comes. Oh, so what? There.
Why is the...
Right.
How much...
Well,
You're right. Okay.
well then.
Hello, my friend.
Huh?
How are you doing?
What? What do you want?
Isn't it too cold for you on the ground?
Cold? So what? This stuff here. It warms you up better than any heating.
What is it, if I may ask?
Cider, pal. Really cheap. And it's nice. It goes down well.
Why do you drink so much?
Because I'm thirsty. Very thirsty.
Do you still like the taste?
Of course I like it. Dum-dum.
It smells pretty strong. How do you manage to drink?
I drink everything, mate. Most important thing is that it
You don't look too happy, though. Okay.
Well then.
The biggest flask. Absolutely
Right.
empty.
I'm kind of covering it. That's why it was so hard to see. Oh, I see. All right. Kind of thought I'd be able to see the... Go to the phone book over here and take a look at the number from there. But I can't actually flip any of these. And trying to click on the phone book itself just makes me exit the booth. Shit. No, can't seem to find a way to flip them.
I can't hear any dialing tone.
Okay, now I can open it. I wondered if that was the case.
Let's see if the phone number of the museum is listed in here.
I would certainly hope so.
Museum, okay. Museum of African Studies, Museum of Ancient History. Here, Anthropological Museum. And the extension of Professor Turner? It's here. I've got it.
Okay. Am I gonna enter it automatically now, or?
Let's see if the phone number of the museum is listed in here.
I can't skip this dialogue.
Museum, okay. Museum of African Studies, Museum of Ancient History. Here, Anthropological Museum. And the extension of Professor Turner? It's here. I've got it.
Cool.
I can't hear any dialing tone.
Then comes the money issue. Spoiler alert again, I know my phone doesn't work, but I don't know what stuff I have to do to get the game to trigger that it doesn't work. But, as I always say with games like System Shock 1, if you don't know where to go, just try going everywhere you haven't gone yet. And I feel that's even more true for point-and-click adventures.
What's wrong again? No dialing tone.
Nine, 8, 7, 9, 8, 6. They wouldn't really make you try everyone, would they? Alright, so always starts beeping after the second one. So there would be no way for me to actually physically test this, it seems.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't
You don't
it?
hear anything, and nothing happens either.
I'm going to save now, because I just want to see if there's any other thing phone related. Yeah. Didn't know it would ask me for a place to do it. Save one. Ah, so Halligan's banned from making long distance calls. I just know that from the lore of the game, but you only really know that if you know how phones work, and I don't, because I'm born after this. So apparently, if it beeps after like 3 numbers, that means you can only do local numbers, and you can't do anything long distance. So I can't call the museum from my phone, and that's how I'm supposed to know that information. Now I go talk to... Well, now I need to go get drunk. I think now that I have the flask, I can say yes to the drinking.
Well, Halligan, what did Professor...
I haven't.
No?
I have some other. No.
Ah,
My wallet is.
you what?
No.
Well,
Okay.
okay. Well, Halligan, what did
I had a.
You own... Why didn't...
I couldn't.
Have you...
It's all right for you. My phone doesn't work properly anymore.
Why don't you go to a phone booth?
I don't have any change to phone.
Well, now you've got a problem. Lost it all gambling again, did you? Hey, that reminds me. You still owe me £30, Halligan. You haven't got it on you by any chance?
Told you I lost my wallet.
Maybe you'll remember it someday.
Okay, Chris.
I guess I'll go look at the bottles again real quick.
Too dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. I don't even know what kind of stuff that is.
What did I do with it? What took 20 minutes?
Well, Halligan, what did Professor...
I haven't.
No.
I have. No. My wallet.
Your wallet?
Well, it still doesn't offer me the
Well,
alcohol question.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Halligan, how'd you get on at the museum? What did
The museum.
Oh.
My wallet.
Your wallet?
No.
Well...
Okay. What did I do for 20 minutes?
I'd rather think about it again. I'd rather think about it again.
What in the world? I may need to talk to Lowry first to get it to trick.
Well,
So the alcohol thing isn't even appearing now. Haven't seen it yet.
No.
Got to those two first.
No.
And it's not bringing up the liquor question.
Excuse me, but
Let's try exhausting Lowry's dialogue.
Hello, Lowry.
Oh, you're all...
That's a nice suit you're wearing.
Don't humour me, Halligan. You don't know a thing about suits. A blind man would know from 100 yards away that you bought your stuff at Woolworths.
It's a pretty bad insult.
What do you want?
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry to hear that things went so badly between you and the chief.
Don't be a hypocrite, Halligan. I know you're as pleased as punch about this, but I can tell you one thing right now. Don't expect any support from me.
You're obliged by your offer. Let's not argue, Lowry. I need some information from you about the last investigations.
You've got the file, Halligan. I suppose you can read. And now scram.
Thanks for being so helpful, Detective.
You're welcome, Halligan.
Now let's ask him about Walt's
What is
situation.
it this time, Halligan?
I'd really like to know how a
You guys haven't met
drag-out
Janet
like
yet.
you
We haven't gone
managed to
into her
get a
room
date
yet.
with Janet.
Well, you know what, Halligan? Women do like a winner, don't they? Little Janet is no exception. We went to the palace yesterday.
What was showing?
The new Schwarzenegger film.
You know how to handle women, don't you?
Of course. Janet said she found it disgusting, but I know for a fact that she was very keen on it. Women are like that. Do you understand?
I don't think I quite understand what you meant by that, Lowry.
What amazes me is why a woman like her should find your boring stories about cars, sports, and action films so entertaining.
Halligan, I'm sure you didn't come to tell me that. What do you really want?
Could I
Could I
use
just
your
use your phone?
Haven't you got your own telephone, Halligan?
Yes, but there's something not quite right with it.
No dialing tone. Is that it?
Yes.
That's right.
The chief can explain it to you for certain. Have fun.
Okay.
You're a really nice person, Lowry.
I do my best.
Okay.
What is it
That's very
this time,
extended.
Halligan?
I'd really...
Well, little...
What was...
The new...
You know...
Of course. Women...
Well, I would have thought that Janet had more sense.
Oh, actually, I think she's got very good sense. That's why she always refuses to let you take her out somewhere. She prefers to go out with a man who doesn't dress in rags dragged out of rubbish bins or eat the same pizza every day.
Did she say that?
The facts speak for themselves, Halligan. You eat pizza in your office, and I go to the cinema with Janet. That's the way things work. Oh, I'm sorry, old boy.
What amazes me...
Halligan, what are you...
Could I just use your...
Haven't you got your own...
It's not quite right.
Yeah.
No,
What's your
Tell
extension?
me, Larry, what's your extension?
196. You know that.
Yes, right. I just forgotten it. I don't phone you so very often.
Yeah, and that's the way I like it, Halligan. Don't you dare start ringing me up and getting on my nerves.
How
How do you know that?
Someone in accounts has had a look at the department's telephone bills, Halligan, and you're the record holder by a very, very wide margin. Your phone will only work internally from now on. Janet told me that when we went to the cinema. Where do you keep calling to anyway? The Caribbean?
I don't think that's got anything to do with you, Larry.
Oh, yes, okay, of course, sure. It's none of my business. But if you think that you can make your phone calls from here, you're dead wrong.
Wow. Bunch of long distance calls. This is back when that kind of sort of mattered.
Okay. I'll talk to you.
Let's see if we can drink some drink now. If not, I'll go talk to Miller.
Well, Halligan, how'd you get on at the museum? What did Professor Turner do?
I haven't seen...
No.
I have some... No...
Come on, why?
My wallet has disappeared.
It happened
Have you
last
seen it?
time. I can't think of what I did differently.
No, it isn't here. Was there much money in it?
No.
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Hmm.
Too dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. I don't even know what kind of stuff that is. Too dangerous to carry the bottle around with me. I don't even know what kind of stuff that is.
Try once more. Because I didn't talk to the chief again last
Well,
time.
Halligan, what did Professor...
I haven't seen...
No?
I have some... No.
Come on. Alright, I'm gonna try a different
Halligan,
order.
what did...
The mute... My wallet...
Your wallet?
No.
Well...
Okay.
Okay. Well, Halligan, what did
I had a look...
You only... Why didn't you go in?
I couldn't get...
Have you tried...
I don't...
Well, no... Hey, that reminds me. You haven't got a...
Could I use you...
I'm not so keen on that, Halligan. Why don't you ask...
Lowry? You know how...
Specialist...
Exactly.
Sorry, Halligan.
Okay.
Why did it appear last time, but it's not appearing this time? The option isn't even appearing.
I can't do anything with this. I can't do anything with this. I can't even pronounce the name on the label right. Far too hot to touch. Far too hot to touch. If I pull that hose off, the whole of Scotland Yard will blow up. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
That is a gas valve. Blowing up Scotland Yard. Not a bad idea. Well, good to know. Good to know he is, in fact, a psychopath.
Scotland Yard Detective Lowry. Hello? Hello?
I never use the receiver. That thing is just too heavy. Using the loudspeaker is I'd better leave that. I never use the receiver.
What? What you want, buddy? He be zooming. We're bud.
Excuse me, but I didn't quite understand all the points of the briefing. Could we just go through it again?
My God, Halligan, do we really have to repeat it 3 times?
I'm ready.
There's no need to
You're
like here.
now married. They gave him.
What do you...
You know, they let he was
Stabbed? Why?
Well, life in prison's hard. I suppose the inmates don't like psychopaths much. Odd, really, considering the whole place is crammed full of them. Whatever. The butcher's dead. By the way, his lawyer phoned this morning and told me a hell of a lot of legal stuff. Just after the report on the radio. The butcher's widow is thinking of suing our department.
For what reason?
Suing
I don't know.
our
I can think of
department.
one.
For what reason?
Oh, unlawful detention, involuntary manslaughter, abuse of office. You name it. I can't remember it all.
But the man was guilty, and now he's dead. So why sue us?
That's the problem, Halligan. He may not have been guilty at all. And as from today, the widow's lawyer has got a really good argument supporting that theory. There's been another murder.
I know that you're just supposed to explore one line of this, but if you do all of them, it really does make Halligan sound like a blubbering idiot.
There's been another murder.
A pile of...
Oh,
You see? You heard it. Halligan, you drive...
of course.
And Halligan, I want result. The press is...
Of course.
Maybe I didn't talk about the drunk enough, or the beggar enough about his drinking. Let's go try talking to him more about that. If that does fix this, then from now on I'm just going to have a little personal rule that I just explore every line of dialogue. Look at those high-res pigeons.
Hey, it's me again.
So what? You know more about me than my goddamn mother. Bagger off.
Apparently not.
What are you doing here?
Are you? I'm having a...
Having a drink.
Why do you drink so much?
Because very...
It smells. How do you manage to drink?
I drink it most of...
You don't look... Can I have a...
Get your own. Get me one as well. My bottle's empty.
There's money in your hat.
Ah, no. Those...
Why is the...
Right,
How much...
well...
You're right. Have you...
Yeah,
A woman?
Nah, she come off.
Ah.
So...
Okay.
Well then...
Alright, let's see if that worked.
Well, Halligan, what did
Something
There
I
we
wanted to ask you, Chris. What are those flasks?
Yep, that was it.
contain?
Oh, you
Even
mean
though he
those
already told me about
shells?
his
They
drinking
contain
in a
all
different
sorts of
dialogue.
different chemicals I need for my work. Indicator solutions, alcohol, things like that.
You've got a great job, Chris. Masses of alcohol and everything legal.
Nonsense, Halligan. Why don't you just...
Sure.
Sure, no problem.
One of our amazing cutscenes. I like the bottle on the bottom right going nuts. This guy has quite the walk on him.
Here, Brent, to your health. What's up? Go ahead, try it. You won't get one of these so often.
All right.
Your
here
hair
we
is going to be
go.
aged up.
Cheers.
To your health, Brent. An interesting aroma.
Isn't it? Brent, aren't you feeling very well?
Maybe it looks better on other PCs, but there's no video settings for me to adjust.
God damn it. You could knock someone out cold with this kind of stuff, Chris. Chris?
Alright. Our path ahead is clear.
Look what we've got here. This is the bottle Chris took.
Oh, I guess we wiped it with the rag beforehand to wipe off any previous fingerprints, now I think about it. Man, that's like a really finicky little thing.
Now the flask is half full of apple juice.
Oh, I see. I wish you made it a little bit less than half full if you didn't want to kill the motherfucker. Can I put it back? I can. Oh, interesting. Not sure if I should or not, but because the fingerprint powder is obviously still there. Took me 20 minutes to dust off like a dozen bottles.
There's nothing I can do with this.
Let's go pay that beggar a little visit.
I've got something for you. Apple schnapps. from Detective Halligan's home distillery. My own brand. Would you like to have a taste?
You serious? All right, pal. I'm as dry as the bottom of a parrot's cage.
Why don't you drink it all? I don't mind. And it's a cracker, I can tell you.
Cheers, mister.
Cheers.
A little bit sleepy. I got some coins. Prince, now I can make a call. We can move forward.
I can't hear any dialing. Let's see if the phone number of the museum is listed in here. Museum, okay. Museum of African Studies, Museum of Ancient History. Here, Anthropological Museum. And the extension of Professor Turner? It's here. I've got it.
Is this a coin slot? Oh, I should probably use the coins from here.
Hello?
Hello, who's that?
Who am I speaking to?
This is Detective Halligan from Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard? What can I do for you?
I need to speak to Professor Turner. Doesn't he work at the museum?
Yes, but he's away on business.
May I speak to you then?
Look, miss, what was your name?
Goodbye, Mr. Halligan.
She's hung up.
Now I know we need to go talk to the doc again. Though I might have to complete more dialogue with her, we'll see. Wait, that's Larry's place. I'm going to keep making that mistake.
Well, Brent, still got a headache?
Don't ask, Chris.
Have you managed to contact Professor Turner?
Yeah, I phoned him, but he wasn't in.
Not in?
He's on an expedition. I just talked to some woman who works there.
With his extension number?
Yes, exactly.
Well, Halligan, that was probably his daughter Melanie. She works in the museum as well. My friend told me a lot about her. He used to be really keen on her.
So, Professor Turner has a daughter. Thanks, Chris. I think that'll help me.
First I thought he meant that the father was keen for her. I'm like, well, that's not great.
Halligan? How are you getting on?
Yeah, everything's fine. Thanks.
Oh, cool. Guess it means we're done. Done speaking. I wonder what the chemistry soap we used for. That's a genuine question. I don't know. Hopefully there was a lot of change on the beggar. I don't know how many calls 60 pence get you in a phone booth. I also don't know if they're limited time or not, or if you could theoretically stand there forever.
Hello?
Hello, this is Halligan again. Please don't hang up, Miss Turner.
How do you know my name, Mr. Halligan?
Chris Hecker told me that Professor Turner's your father.
Yes, that's true.
What do you do at the museum?
I'm an anthropologist.
The same as your father.
Yes?
Miss Turner, do you think you could help me?
That depends. What's the trouble?
I found a bone that I've had examined at the lab.
A bone? A human bone?
Yes, of course. It belonged to a murder victim.
Murder? How awful.
The bone is from
Yes,
the
quite.
body of one of the victims of the skeleton murders. I take it you've read about them?
Oh, good heavens, yes. What can I do for you?
Couldn't we discuss that inside?
Certainly. Come on over. I'll let you in.
There we go. I'm sure in real phone booths, the phone receiver doesn't actually just clip through the metal bit. I think in real life it more rests on them.
Mr. Halligan?
Yes, that's right. Hello, Miss Turner. Nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time.
No problem. We're closed anyway. The museum is being refurbished.
It's not easy to get in touch with you. I was close to giving up.
Oh, you mean because of the phone call? I'm really sorry. I do sometimes tend to be rather short on the phone. You know, I get unpleasant calls sometimes, and that's why I'm a bit suspicious.
I see. Well, I finally got in touch with you.
Would you like to come in?
That's a rather human conversation.
Would you like a cup of coffee or anything else?
No thanks.
Mr. Halligan, how may I help you?
As I said, I'm working on the skeleton murders. We found another victim in Epping Forest. All the evidence points to the same culprit as in the other cases. The corpse was completely skeletonized. Professional work.
That's horrible. But how can I help you?
My colleague Chris Hecker of the Forensic Lab has already had a look at the bones. He thought that your father could perhaps carry out some additional tests. He is a renowned expert, after all.
Yes, he could do that. But as I said, my father isn't here.
I know, but it is very urgent. Perhaps you could have a look?
You say you've got some of the bones with you?
Yes, just one. Here.
Should probably give it to her in the
Yes,
bag.
that's what Chris Hecker said as well.
It will take some time, Mr. Halligan. Could you wait a moment?
Sure. Let's ask some questions, though.
I would like to ask you some questions about your work, just out of interest.
What are all these strange
What are
things?
all these strange things?
Artifacts,
here?
I'd imagine.
They're things my father and I have brought back from various expeditions. They have to be catalogued, will then become part of the permanent exhibition of our museum. Some things are personal presents. We keep those, of course.
You see quite a lot of the world, don't you?
Yes, that's part of my job.
Very cool.
What's your father's current research project?
He's in Kenya studying initiation rituals.
What?
The rituals carried out when the childhoods of boys and girls end and they're admitted to the circle of adults.
Cool.
How long have you been working here?
Several years. My father helped me to get the job here at the museum.
Connections
Not really
are
surprised.
indispensable nowadays, aren't they?
I was the most qualified applicant. But it's not easy to gain acceptance with the old boys of the museum's board when you're a woman. You
I
have
imagine
to be
it
at least
wasn't.
twice as good as the best male applicant.
And you were.
Of course I was. It's been decided that I'll be the head of the museum as soon as my father retires.
Cool.
When will that be?
In 5 years?
Then you will have achieved a lot for someone your age.
How old do you think I am?
I'd say 29.
Exactly.
Oh, good job. I suck at guessing ages. I always guess way too low, which is to my benefit because you never want to go too high.
What's your research field?
I like this
I
violin.
specialize in sacrificial rites.
Sacrificial rites. That's an unusual research field for a young woman.
Do you think so? I don't think you should divide preferred science fields for men or women, Mr. Halligan.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I just think that you must have to do with death all the time if you research sacrifices.
Death is part of our existence, Mr. Halligan. In all cultures, all around the world.
You're telling me. If you take it like that, we are almost like colleagues.
Maybe. But it's not my job to put people in jail. I document the sacrificial rites of different cultures in order to help create a better mutual understanding.
What is there to be understood about murder?
I'm not saying that I approve of everything I research, Mr. Halligan, but in foreign cultures, not all sacrificial rites are regarded as murder. Most cultures sacrifice animals or plants, and they do so for religious reasons. Human sacrifices don't exist anywhere in the world at present. They're a thing of the past.
It is very interesting. Was a genuinely good conversation between these two. There's my cursor.
That was very interesting. Thank you, Miss Turner.
Not at all. I like talking about it.
I would
Often
assume so.
alone here with
That's
my
your
work.
primary
It feels
degrees in
good
it.
to be able to chat, but now I'll have a look at that bone you brought.
Good.
Have a sit. Imagine we're going to have to put some more of the bone in there. I don't think there's supposed to be two Ms. Turners here. If I'm being perfectly frank, I think maybe that is a glitch, but it is extremely spooky.
I'd better think about it again. That's interesting. The notches in the bone were made by a sharp instrument. The sickle matches the notches to a T.
Couldn't they have made the same notches with any other blade?
Forbidden archaeologies, my favorite. Excellent research, very mysterious. Father hates it when I use up all his chemicals.
Presumably you need them.
Oh, Melanie, that won't work.
Okay.
Father hates it when I use up all his chemicals.
There it is again, and it's terrifying. Okay. I can't do anything like this, can I? Nope. Okay. And I'm gone again. I'm a bit bad at the double clicking part of this. Can I just straight up put it under the microscope?
I'll never get the bone under there.
Oh, there must be something I can use to take off part of it. Can I just use one of these blades?
Nothing's happening. That doesn't help. That won't. It won't work. I don't want that. It's lucky nobody saw that.
We
That's
shoot the
interesting.
gun at the
notches
bone.
in the bone were made by a sharp instrument.
Okay. There I am again. Is there perhaps a different part of this table I can click on? Doesn't seem like it. Oops.
I would have been surprised if it had worked like that. I don't want that.
You're calling me stupid.
I don't want that.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else to put in there.
No, not a chance. Nothing's happening. That doesn't work. Pity. It won't work like that.
Okay. And it seems there's no opening these cabinets in any way.
Well, did you get anywhere, Miss Turner?
Not really. Not yet, anyway. It'll take a while.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no point in that.
But it's the one thing that did kind of
I can't do that.
Okay.
Would that? That doesn't work. That doesn't help either. There's no point in that.
I didn't think there would be. I'm just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks at this point. Ah, there is a separate machine. Got it. I was curious. Hate that sound. How do I go back?
There's some metal residue here.
Sure is. I have to redo it every time? Okay, let's see.
Hey, didn't this edition mention something in connection with sacrificial rites in Britain?
Sure. Can I open it and figure it out?
I can't do that. Let's see.
Oh,
Yes,
I have to
here it
click it in.
is. An article about the Druids and their sacrificial rites. The latest findings indicate that in ancient England it was probable for the most... for their high ceremonies, the Celts usually preferred to use... incredible. It all fits in with this bone.
Very
I'm
good.
sure the detective will be very interested.
So I'm going to have to pass through myself.
Mr. Halligan? I believe I've found something interesting about your bone.
Go
Haha.
ahead.
In my
Euphemism.
opinion, this bone was worked on.
With a sickle.
Yes, and probably with a sickle made of gold.
What makes you think that?
The bone bears notches matching the cutting form of a sickle to a T, and I found a trace of gold in one of the notches.
A golden sickle? Who would use a weapon like that in order to cut a human being to pieces?
That's what I asked myself as well. I found an interesting article which could help us. According to the historian Arthur Blake, the Britannic Druids carried out very bloody sacrificial rites. He found out that such rites took place at major celebrations of the Celts. He assumes that consecrated golden sickles were used for those rites.
And how does he know about these things?
He learned about it from old inscriptions he's translating at the moment. Interesting, huh?
Celts? Druids? Quite some time has passed since then, hasn't it?
Of course, but the descriptions in the article absolutely match the findings on your bone, Mr. Halligan. I'm sure the author of the article can help you.
Cool. Could Blake be right?
What do you think? Could this Blake be right?
I don't know. Maybe he just wants to make money with horror stories about ancient Britain.
I think there's
The bone
easier
you
ways to
showed
make
me
money.
would match his theory quite well.
Have you ever seen anything similar in your career?
Oh, Mr. Halligan, you don't know the Aztec skull walls. If you'd seen
I
those,
do.
you'd consider your bone harmless.
Maybe, but that was centuries ago. The victim of this murder was found this morning, and it was found in London.
Which is, I would agree, alarming.
So you think this murder could be a ritual murder?
Yes, it would be possible. There are several occult sects and Satanists. They like checking their history books and adopting archaic rituals.
That's true.
What did you say this author's name was?
Blake. Arthur Blake.
Was there any mention in the
Bond.
article of
James
how you
Bond.
could get in touch with the man?
I thought you'd ask that. His address was printed below the article. 366 Pinewood Road, Northampton.
Cool.
I would like to ask
Is there
you
anything
some
more I can
questions.
ask her?
What's your
He's
initial?
the ritual.
I'm going there now.
Mr. Halligan, I'm interested in this, particularly because of my job. I'd like to help you with your case. Would you take me with you?
Impossible. It's confidential police work.
Impossible.
I have to see him on my own. I'm sorry.
I'm sure my knowledge would be to your advantage, Mr. Halligan, and I think
I
it
would
would be
agree.
really interesting to work on a case like that.
Oh, when I think about it, perhaps that's not a bad idea at all. Perhaps there will be more examinations to be done. Okay, Miss Turner, let's do it like this. I'll keep you informed on the case. If I hear anything new or if I need your help, I'll contact you. What do you think?
All right. I'll see you later then.
Yeah, see you later. And thank you, Miss Turner.
We did it. Objective completo. Let's go see if the beggar's still asleep. Yep, still having this good old nap. Alright, to Arthur Blake's place.
That's it. Pretty out of the way.
Yeah, you know, get a place in the country when you get old. I questioned that giant manual plow in front of his car. Gonna make it difficult to get out.
Mr. Blake?
Yes?
My name's Brent Halligan. I'm a detective from Scotland Yard. I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Scotland Yard? What's this about? Is something wrong?
I'd rather we discuss this in private. Do you mind if I come in?
I'm not sure. What's happened? Is there a problem with one of my publications?
No, sir. I'm investigating a murder case. Perhaps you could help me? It really won't take very long.
Murder? How awful. But what's it got to do with me?
Mr. Blake, I'd really prefer it if we could go somewhere a little more private. May I come in?
Well, yes, certainly. Come on in.
Yeah, as long as it's not a problem with my books, then I would have a problem with you coming in.
An oil painting. It's not quite to my taste. Books. A lot of books.
True. Ooh, there's a lot of liquor over there. Looks like my house.
An old pendulum clock with a Roman face.
Correct. Ooh, that is a creepy piano.
You're the author of a book on Druids, am I right?
Yes, quite correct. In fact, I'm just working on a revised version for the next edition. But what makes you so interested in my book?
I'm currently investigating a series of murders in London. I've made some interesting
tambourines as well.
discoveries that I'd like to discuss with you.
What series of murders are we talking about?
The skeleton murders. You may have read about them in the papers.
Oh, yes. Of course. A terrible business.
Mr. Blake, I believe there may be some sort of ritual behind these murders.
Well, what makes you think that?
Dr. Turner from the Anthropological Museum in Oxford examined one of the last victim's bones for me. She found residual traces of gold on it and round notches.
Round notches, you say?
Yes. Does that mean anything to you? Doesn't your book on Druids mention ritual killings for which a golden sickle was used?
True. Are you saying these murders are based on the same ritual?
That's what I've come to ask you.
But that's impossible. It can't be true. It's... My God. It would be unthinkable. It would confirm all my translations. I've been researching the history of the Druids for 30 years now. But I've never yet found proof of my greatest fears.
Your greatest fears?
Yes. The perfection of the final ritual. The final confirmation of the Druids' power.
Tell me.
What's this final ritual all about?
This is the text I wrote down during my travels through England and France. You know, when you travel through the country, you can feel that many locals still believe in the old Celtic customs. A group of farmers in the south of England let me copy the inscriptions on a megalith that stands in a field there. They claim that there used to be a huge Druid temple close to their house, but there's nothing left of it now. Whatever. I managed to translate the text. Pardon.
Okay, Mr. Blake, please come to the point. What does it say?
It says that the last of the Druids saw the fall of their priesthood coming in the year 1000 AD. In the confusion surrounding the final destruction of the order, a demonic superior Druid seized power, using his knowledge of Druid magic, not for the good of his people and to honor the gods, but to submit all of mankind to his rule. In order to secure the survival of the Druids' tradition, and to complete his devilish work, he organized a final ritual, transferring the knowledge and power of the last of the Druids to 5 infants. These infants have always been referred to as the inheritors.
Go on.
The inscription says that the ritual was not entirely completed. I've not yet been able to discover why. But from what I've learned, the inheritors are strong and powerful enough to one day complete the ritual by themselves.
Okay.
What happened to the Druids after 1000 AD?
Well, that's a good question, Mr. Halligan. Scientists are still arguing on that point. Some suspect that many Druids simply became priests in the Christian church. After all,
Pretty sure that's how the
Christian
lore of real
priests
life
took
is.
over the position in society that had formerly been reserved for the Druids. They simply changed their jobs.
And secretly continued their own religion?
That's not unlikely. They certainly influenced the Christian church. That we do know.
Certainly
Some
did.
experts believe that the Druids' order never ceased to exist. That's where the myth surrounding the final ritual comes in. It supposedly took place 1,000 years ago.
This game came out in 2001, by the way, so it would have literally been 1,000 years ago.
Right. But what have these murders got to do with the myth?
Well, that's just it, Mr. Halligan. I haven't told you the whole story yet.
There's more?
Yes. The inscriptions explain that the Druids' inheritors require the life force of other people to complete the ritual.
I see. And how do they do that?
According to legend, the flesh has to be cut off the bones of living humans and to be eaten. Only then can their life force be transferred.
You mean the victims of these skeleton murders were practically eaten alive by cannibals?
By Druids. Yes.
I don't believe it.
The worst is yet to come, Mr. Halligan.
What? What could possibly be worse than that?
If such skeletons have been found in London, bearing marks of a golden sickle, it can only mean one thing. The inheritors are preparing for the perfection of their final ritual.
Which means?
The myth says, once the ritual has been completed, the world will become a place governed by evil. Dark magic will be unleashed upon the world, and mankind will have but one choice: to obey or to die.
Great. And you really
Great.
believe all that?
I believe it's possible. You know, Mr. Halligan, I'm not a superstitious man, but I've spent enough time studying Druidism to know that more goes on between heaven and earth than we can possibly imagine.
I quite agree.
You see, and the skeletons that have been found within the past few months fit in perfectly with the Druids' sacrificial rites. The day of the ritual's perfection is drawing near. Of that I'm certain. What we're looking at right now is just the beginning. Before we're through, more people will die, and the inheritors will soon be strong enough.
What can we do about it?
Time is running out, Mr. Halligan. You must find the inheritors and put them out of action.
How do I do that?
That's an easy thing to say, but how can I?
There may be a way. During my latest research, I came across something very interesting. If the story I've heard is true, then there's a certain item that was extremely important for the ritual 1,000 years ago.
What is it?
A piece of jewelry mentioned in the old inscriptions. The Amulet of Transformation. You should try to gain possession of that amulet.
The Amulet of Transformation? What's its purpose?
I don't know, Mr. Halligan. Nobody does. All I do know is that the myth says it's important for the completion of the ritual. If you find the amulet, you may be able to prevent the ritual.
Nice idea. How'd you find out about it?
How did you find out about the amulet?
My work led to the discovery of a connection between the Druids of Gaul and Britain. It seems there was a small group of British Druids who fled to France when the ritual failed.
What for?
I don't know. Maybe they wanted to save the amulet. I found out that a 13th century despotic French nobleman somehow gained possession of the amulet. I found a picture of him in an old archive.
Really? Let me see.
There we go. There is a photorealistic picture.
Well, he doesn't look particularly friendly. Was he a druid?
Well, he must have had something to do with the Druids, but I really can't tell you how he gained possession of the amulet. However, he is the only clue that I can possibly give you as to the whereabouts of the amulet.
Somewhere in a
I
castle in
suggest that you
France.
make your way to Carmore. With any luck, you may find more clues leading to the amulet there.
All right, Mr. Blake. I'll get going immediately.
Take care of yourself, Mr. Halligan. Good luck. Well, what can I do for you? You can ask me anything you want.
Any more lore? Why are you
Tell
in
me,
a
Mr.
wheelchair?
Blake, why are you in a wheelchair?
Oh, that's a sad story. I was attacked a few years back.
Attacked? Who by?
I don't know. It was after an autograph session for my first book about the Druids. A group of men were lying in wait for me and beat me up.
Why? Had you had a disagreement with someone?
No, not that I know of. They just beat me up. Without warning, and without saying a single word. Then they left me lying there, calm as anything. They just strolled away.
That's terrible. Who could they have been? Do you know what they looked like?
They were dressed all in black and wearing dark sunglasses. That's all I remember. It all happened so fast.
And you've been in a wheelchair ever since?
Yes. I can't drive anymore, and I find my work very strenuous. I'll be grateful if I ever manage to finish my new book.
Well, it's very sad.
You're the author of a book on druids, am I right?
Yes, quite correct. But
I'm currently in. I've the.
oh yeah, terrible.
Mr. Blake, Doc, she. Yeah, does true. That's you're.
Yeah, the
Oops. What are the four
I'd like
elements?
to know more about the four elements.
The Druids regarded the four elements as the material of which the world is made. They invoked the elements and used them for their rituals. There were only three proper elements: air, water, and earth. Fire, the fourth element, existed solely for the purpose of transferring one of the three basic elements into another.
What do you mean?
Well, solids or liquids become gaseous through fire. Gas can be turned into liquid form with the help of fire.
Yep.
Take a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen, for example. Fire, therefore, represents transformation, the transferal of one element into a new condition.
That sounds pretty complicated.
I suppose it does when you first hear it, but it's actually quite simple.
Yes, well, that's what my colleague Chris Hecker always tries to tell me whenever he starts lecturing me about chemistry.
Quite right, Mr. Halligan. I shouldn't bore you with such details.
Solo.
Tell me more about the Druids.
Well, the Druids were Celtic priests. They were highly respected scholars, responsible for preserving the Celtic religion and science. Their main tasks included conducting sacrificial rituals, medicine, astronomy, and justice. Experts now believe that Druidism began in ancient Britain and spread from there to the European continent, especially to Gaul. The first definite evidence of the Druids' existence goes back to 500 BC.
That's a long time ago.
Quite. And for at least 500 years from then on, the Druids were the most important class of Celtic society.
What happened then?
Well, with Britain and Gaul being conquered by the Romans, the Druids were quickly suppressed. Their doctrine was abolished and replaced by Roman tenets. In the end, Christianity took over. And by around 1000 AD, Druidism seems to have vanished.
What did the Druids and their followers believe in?
Well, that's not so very easy to explain. Like the Romans and the Greeks, the Celts had a number of gods to whom various functions were ascribed. They paid homage to these gods with rituals and sacrifices. Many of their cult rituals were performed for the stars and the four elements: fire, water, air, and earth. Their religious acts always took place in forests, usually in a clearing or at some other prominent location. The Druids didn't start building their temples until they had met the Romans.
Okay.
What were their rituals like?
Well, they mainly made sacrifices on special occasions. Druids would burn plants and twigs to transfer them into the realm of the divine.
That doesn't sound so terrible.
No, but they also sacrificed animals, mostly rams or pigs. Roman writers even mention cruel human sacrifices, crucifixions, decapitations, and regular slaughters on the altar.
What? Oh, that's horrific.
Not all of these stories are based on definite facts, Mr. Halligan.
Yeah, that's something you have to understand about any old historians just as much as now, is that they very well might have been biased. And that's what want to describe a people, what they were doing in a way that just makes them seem worse because they don't like them. We actually see a lot about this in what texts are written about the Khans.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. That's all for now.
You're welcome, Mr. Halligan. Good luck.
Thank you. Alright, well, that's basically the perfect place to stop. I'm now going to save. Make sure it actually saves. Save to. Alright, well, with that, we'll see all you guys on Thursday when we should stream. Sorry, Wednesday when we should stream next. Have a good day, night, morning, evening, whatever time it is for you. See you next time.